Oh, another match point.
Incredible third set here.
They changed their strategy a little bit and they fought their way back in.
There it is. Game, set, and match. Hello and welcome to the 2024-2025 APTA Tour. We're live from the Fox Chapel Racket Club in Pittsburgh, PA, bringing you the Steel City Classic with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsors, Bali and Corian. Tournament support has been provided by the following local sponsors: PNC, PJ Dick Trumbull Lindy Group, Delaney Automotive Group, and Xenon Paddle. I'm Dave Broderick, along with John Kilmer, bringing you the men's final between Alvi Regalado and Jose Salazar, our number one seeds, taking on Tommy Gregurovic and Tin Ostojic, our number three seeds. John, welcome to the booth. How are you?
Dave, good to be here. We saw all four of these guys quickly come onto the court after the women's final. Forecast doesn't look great for the rest of the day, so I think all four of these guys want to get started early. So with that in mind, let's introduce the four players so the people at home can orient themselves. On the top of the screen, serving in the white hat, is Jose Salazar, and his partner on the ad side is Alvi Regalado. On the bottom of our screen, serving on the ad side, is Tommy Gregurovic, and serving on the do side with the shorts is Tin Ostojic. Up in the umpire chair is Ron Borgatti, and we should be, well, we're going to be in store for a nice men's final today.
You know, I look forward to seeing a really good match here. You know, we've seen all four of these players quite a bit on live streaming, which means, you know, throughout the course of the season, they've all gotten pretty deep into several of the tour events. You know, I think you got to give a little bit of a favorite to Regalado Salazar as our number one team in the country right now. But, you know, I look Gregurovic and Ostojic, you know, they're amazing shot makers. They're really good. You know, in the semifinals, Regalado Salazar took down Bentheim and Sven-Barish 7-5, 7-5 in what looked to be a, you know, pretty tight match. And Gregurovic and Ostojic, they grinded out a three-setter against Tomas Christian and Guillermo Nunez. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun match. You know, we know the style of play Regalado Salazar. They kind of wait for their opportunities. They're very patient. It'll be interesting to see Gregurovic and Ostojic, who are both excellent shot makers. It'll just be interesting to see their patience level and, you know, how quickly or how patient they are to wait to go for their shots.
Yeah, and it will always be interesting as we add the element of weather into the mix, how that benefits which team.
This final round match is best of three sets with tie breaks. To my right, from Roseland, New Jersey, Alvi Regalado. His partner, from Greenwich, Connecticut, Jose Salazar. To my left, from Stamford, Connecticut, Tommy Gregurovic. His partner, also from Stamford, Connecticut, Tin Ostojic. Yep, I just gave you. Here, that ball was right there, actually. I threw it to him, I was down there. Yep.
And John, there we heard the announcements from chair umpire Ron Borgatti, and it looks like Jose Salazar is going to take us out to start this match off. Serving. John, are they playing on ice skates out there?
No, this has been something that I have I've noticed the top 3 or 4 seeds now, almost at every tournament, have a willingness to play like it's a clay court the second the court has an ounce of condensation on it. So for the viewers watching at home, they are not slipping accidentally. They're definitely sliding out there with their tennis backgrounds.
That was some pretty good sliding into the shots right there. John, early on we're seeing this is the style of play I think Salazar, Regalado want to get into. It'll just be, like I said earlier, interesting, and we'll have to wait and see how patient Gregurovic and Ostojic are willing to be throughout this match. But we did see in that first point already, a big forehand by Ostojic. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
And that's to your point, Dave, where you have to be careful when you are playing against Regalado Salazar, is that they're not going to give you many mistakes. So on one end, you don't want to force things and play into that speed. But on the other, the odds of you playing more successfully a slower game than them is equally difficult. So you have to find your way to play your game, pull the trigger when it's shots that you like, whether that be off the deck or off the screen, and figure out what that means for you guys to compete against Regalado Salazar.
I think that's one of the reasons why it's getting so hard to play against Regalado Salazar, is because day in and day out they play very consistent. Their style of play doesn't change much. Their consistency is really good. In order to have success with them, you have to have a really good game plan, and you've got to execute it almost to perfection.
Game. Regalado Salazar, they lead the first set, 1-0.
John, I think that first game was a pretty good, showing of what we're going to see. Where, I think Gregurovic and Ostojic went for a couple of big shots and missed them, but then they kind of tried to play a little bit slower, and you saw Jose Salazar was able to hit the nick 2 or 3 times during that point. So it's going to be an interesting balance for Gregurovic and Ostojic to figure out, figure out their game plan and how they're going to execute it.
And right there, that combination from Jose Salazar is something that I've been noticing him probably have a nice uptick on these past couple of weeks, is that he will have that forehand be the drive that allows him to then step in on that next backhand drive as well. So he starts to have a nice combination of drives set up by the forehand, but then really will step into that backhand like we saw in that last point. And any time that a deuce player attacks backhands in the middle, they have my heart.
And I think, as the game's developing and the game is changing, you're starting to see the higher level players that they are playing in patterns. Like, they'll hit one shot looking for the next one. They're not hitting a particular shot and then waiting to see what's happening. They're hitting a shot looking for the next, opportunity. And they kind of know what's coming, or what they're looking for next.
Love 30.
As we've seen in that point there, 2 really good overheads by Jose Salazar from the baseline.
$15, $30.
Okay, that's a phenomenal transition ball there from Tommy Gregurovic.
That was a pretty good shot.
15-40.
The backhand by Regalado wasn't too bad either.
It wasn't. That was a real 180 in that point where it looked like they had Regalado on the ropes for the first two.
Salazar, they lead 2-1.
And then he just decided to stay up in the green, step in, and rope a really nice Tyler Frazier-looking two-handed backhand. And that takes Regalado Salazar up 2-love in the first set of the Steel City Classic men's final.
Love.
John, it looks like the court's much drier than what we were watching or seeing in the women's final earlier. But it still seems like, as you see there, Regalado slipping, that it's still kind of slippery out there.
15 all.
Yeah, and we always talk about kind of the downstream impacts of that in both how the ball behaves off the deck, how it behaves off the screen. Salazar there with the joke, pretending to slip as he's helping his partner towel off. But it also comes down to how much do you trust your footing. All four of these guys have phenomenal ground strokes because they generate their power from the ground up. And if they don't trust that that footing will be underneath them, it does change things a little bit, which is why we see sometimes them decide to slide rather than run. When you slide, it's controlled chaos. Maybe not great for your knees, but controlled chaos.
30.
And something that I really like what Regalado's doing in this point here is we saw on those first 3 or 4 overheads, he had Ostojic and Gregurovic really digging and lunging for those shots. But even after they came up with 4 really nice digs, he didn't decrease his margins and go for smaller and smaller targets in the name of winning the point. He accepted the first 4 shots, they made remarkable digs, and he went right back to hitting to the middle and high percentage paddle. Really good patience from Regalado there.
Yeah, and that's part of his strength, the strength of both he and Salazar. So again, to your point, you know, you don't often see many surprise mistakes or impatience coming from out of them.
Game. Regalado Salazar. They lead the first set 3-0.
And it's interesting to see that, you know, we talked about earlier on and we continue to talk about Regalado Salazar, the style of play, how it's a little bit, you know, slow, methodical play. You know, they go for their opportunities when they get them. But, you know, having said that, this first set's moving along pretty quickly. I think there's a big game for Gregurovic and Ostojic to kind of slow things down a little bit. You know, they're going to be serving. They're going to be at the net right now. But, you know, I think they just have to look to make Regalado Salazar hit more balls throughout the course of the points.
Yeah, what's been really jumping off the page for me in this first set so far, too, is almost all of Salazar's drives. I guess there I go with the commentator's curse. But up until that moment, all of Salazar's drives were getting through Gregurovic and Ostojic. So all of a sudden, not only are they playing methodical paddle, but every opportunity that they are getting to drive the ball, they are getting that immediate payoff of transitioning through.
You know, I think that was the first ball that Salazar's missed in this first 3 games of the match. And you know, as you say that, there's another one that was driven through them. I mean, they didn't gain the net, but to your point, they're spotting their drives really well and keeping Gregurovic and Ostojic off balance at the net.
And a lot of times we talk about one skill at a time, but it's really combinations of traits that make
15
teams so
all.
effective. And in that point there, we saw Regalado Salazar with 3 phenomenal digs that speak to how high quality Gregurovic and Ostojic have their overheads, which they are used to probably winning those points. And then not only did they not win those points, that same team that came up with remarkable digs then had a couple high quality drives as well. And all right, when we talk about why is this team having so much success, yes, we do talk about their patience and how few errors they produce, but they also have the firepower at the same time to capitalize on every mistake. And it's in theory how I try to play. Not quite to the same degree, though.
Well, it's a good system and model to copy.
$30 all.
And I think that's about the 7th or 8th ball that Regalado Salazar has hit through them already.
30-40.
And I believe, Dave, every shot that's gone through has gone through the middle. And when I was coaching, that would be the first thing that we would try to close up. If you want to hit drives by us in the alley, do that all day long.
Regalado
You do not get the middle for free.
They lead 4-0.
So that would be the first adjustment that I'd be looking for Gregurovic and Ostojic to make, is whoever's the person who's not hitting the overheads, really think about protecting the middle a little bit more.
15 love.
Couple of really good shots there together by Regalado Salazar.
And I think it was Mike Raleigh who was making this point during the men's semifinals last night. But it's so interesting how at the highest level, how often the middle of the court is used for overheads by all 4 of these guys. And then sometimes when we go down to the club level, they're going for nicks and they're going for doubles alleys almost on every single overhead. So just seeing hitting high percentage shots, phenomenal drop shot there from Gregurovic. But playing high percentage paddle, I'm always looking for takeaways every time that I call or watch a match. And just these guys' willingness to play these high percentage shots and wait for the right opportunity always stands out.
And I think a big thing with that is, a lot of the higher level players, they use that middle screen because most of the time out of the 5 panels on the back court, that's the screen that's open. When you start going, if you don't get it into a side screen, the other 4 screens, there's somebody standing in front of it, which leads to blocked overheads. And, we all know that the more the ball gets blocked, the less time the net team gets to.
Regalado Salazar, they lead the first set 5-0.
And that gives us a chance to talk about one of our main sponsors, Volley. Did you know that Volley has 5 million balls thrown to players working on their game? Don't get left behind. Get your reps in with Volley. Whether it's day or night, you're in control of your training. Volley offers world-class training on demand, helping you sharpen your skills and level up your game, whether it fits your schedule. Ready to join the movement? Start training smarter with Volley today.
15 love. $15 all. $30-15.
And if you are just tuning in, I am John Kilmer, along with Dave Broderick, bringing you action from the Steel City Classic men's final. Right now in the first set, Jose Salazar and Alvi Regalado are up 5-0 against Tommy Gregurovic and Tin Ostojic. If you are wondering who's who, at the net in the light blue is Tommy Gregurovic. In the net with the shorts on and the black hair is Tin Ostojic. At the net with the white hat is Jose Salazar, and at the net with the black xenon paddle is Alvi Regalado.
Put a volley there.
I really like that blitz play too, Dave. If Salazar and Regalado are going to continue to hit push overheads to the middle, which has been working for them phenomenally well, as evidenced by the 5-0 lead, having that occasional blitz off the high lob is going to serve them well. Wow, what a hands battle.
Game. Gregurovic, Ostojic. 5-1, Regalado Salazar.
Hey, John, that's probably the first loose shot by Regalado Salazar. They're really playing well this first set. I mean, they're hitting a lot of drives, to your point earlier on. They're hitting a lot of drives down the middle. They're kind of really bringing it to Gregurovic and Ostojic right now.
It also is remarkable, Dave, just how good of a job Salazar does hitting that roller effectively when he's moving back around the service line off his back foot. I mean, he does not miss it ever, right? I don't know if he's missed it all season, which makes it look like an easy shot. It is not. And it's that ability to create some sort of offense off his back foot that makes it so hard to take control over the net against Regalado Salazar, is even when you hit good lobs, they're able to neutralize a lot of those shots.
Make sure you call it out. Huh? Yeah, no, he didn't call it. Yeah, time out. Just make sure you call it out next time. I know.
We'll chat there with Ron Brigatti on verbalizing the out calls.
And that's a really nice switch for Salazar and Regalado at the net, and it's one that I think club players can kind of emulate, is Salazar wanted to start hitting a couple more overheads. And that meant, instead of staying on the deuce side and creating confusion by stepping across Regalado to take the balls, they decided to switch positions so that Salazar could hit more overheads.
30.
I don't believe that any one player should be taking the vast majority of overheads, especially in club matches, but you do want to stay in sync with your partner, and making sure that you maintain good positioning is a great way to do that.
And I think with Regalado Salazar, they each have their own style of overhead choices and you know what they execute. So for them to switch, you know, they're also giving the other team, they're always giving them a different look.
And right
we
there,
see
we're
Jose-
just, yeah.
I was just going to say, right there we see Jose Salazar continuing to hit those rolling overheads where, when Alvi Regalado's on the left side there at the net, he gives you a little bit more of a traditional kind of a cut overhead into that side screen.
Really good job at this point from Gregurovic and Ostojic with hitting lobs that are pushing them to the service line.
30.
Really good serve and a really good get there on that cut serve into the side screen.
And it feels like to me, Dave, that the speed of play has picked up about 10 to 15%, which isn't anything crazy, but it definitely feels to be just fast enough now that this is where Gregurovic and Ostojic feel a little bit more comfortable. We're seeing a lot more aggressive overheads from Regalado and Salazar. It's working well, they're not missing, but it really feels like Gregurovic and Ostojic are enjoying this speed of play just a little bit more.
I also think Gregurovic and Ostojic are just keeping more balls in play right now, and I think that's sort of what led Regalado Salazar out to a quick 5-love lead, was just, missing some shots, especially from the baseline.
And that can be sometimes the under-discussed difference between push overheads and attacking overheads. Is attacking overheads, if you are defending it at the baseline, it makes your decision-making criteria pretty easy. I just want to survive and make this ball back. Where if your opponent's always pushing it, all of a sudden now you might feel baited or pressured into making a decision that you don't want to make or drive a ball that you don't want to drive because you feel obligated to do so. And I feel like at the beginning of this match, that's where we were seeing a lot of misses from Ostojic and Gregurovic. They were driving balls that weren't working for them. And right now, to your point, Dave, they're keeping a lot more in play because I feel like that is almost the organic response to the increase in aggressive overheads that we're seeing from Regalado Salazar.
$40-30.
But John, so we have a set point here, and I think going forward for Gregurovic and Ostojic as well, I think as much as they're keeping more balls in play, I don't think they can lose their aggressiveness as we see right there. I think it's a fine line and a balance that they're going to need to figure out as to, when to go for it, when to get another ball back in play. But I think even when they go for it, with their drives especially, they've got to force Regalado and Salazar to make a volley. I think early on they went for shots and, missed them long or missed them wide. And I'm a big believer that when you're hitting drives from the baseline, the ball doesn't have to be in. You just have to make the net team believe it's going in.
I like that.
Advantage, Regalado Salazar. Game, set, Regalado Salazar. They won the first set 6-1.
We'll be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel, presented by Joho.
Want to see how volley can transform training at your club? We've got a great offer for you. Gather 30 of your club friends and you'll get a free 30-day trial of volley. Experience firsthand how volley's trainer can help everyone improve. Increase reps and track your progress, all while training smarter. Don't miss out. Visit getvolley.com and unlock your club's full potential with a 30-day free trial.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Hey guys, I'm Dan Hansen. I teach paddle at the Ostojic Como, and I'm an engineer as well. Today I'm going to give a tip about the cut overhead. So a lot of people ask me about how to hit the cutter. So the first thing I'll talk about is the grip. So from Continental, I like to move it over just a little bit, almost like an extreme Continental grip. And then for the overhead, I let the ball drop, and I'm coming underneath the ball to get more spin on it. I'm Dan Hansen. I hope you enjoyed that tip of the week. See you on the court.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We're here at the Fox Chapel Racket Club in Pittsburgh, PA, with this men's final match between Alvi Regalado and Jose Salazar, taking on Tommy Gregurovic and Tin Ostojic. Regalado Salazar won the first set, 6-1. I'm Dave Broderick, along with John Kilmer, bringing you the live action. John, so what did you think about that first set?
That first set, Dave, was pretty similar to, I think, how a lot of us thought stylistically that first set was going to go. Regalado Salazar played remarkably solid and were incredibly opportunistic when they had opportunities to drive and kind of push the pace of play with offense. Towards the back half of that first set, I think Gregurovic and Ostojic were getting a little bit closer to figuring out that right blend between aggressiveness and keeping the ball in play, to our point, right? Maintaining that ability to play their style while still forcing Regalado Salazar to make volleys. And I think the beginning of this set is going to really tell the tale of how it will go, because I think Gregurovic and Ostojic are going to come out swinging with aggressive overheads, kind of like what we saw right there. If it works for them, I think that can give them a nice little boost to start the second set. And if it doesn't, well, we could be in for a fast second set.
And I think it's going to be important again for Gregurovic and Ostojic to, in this first game for a lot of different reasons. But, a big reason was, in the first set, Regalado Salazar got off to a really fast start and kind of, we saw them take a 5-love lead, and it all started with winning the first game of the set and then breaking right away. So this will be a big game, I think, for them to hold and maybe slow things down a little bit.
Fifteen all. Fifteen 30. Fifteen 40. Game, Regalado Salazar, they lead the second set 1-0. Regalado Salazar won the first set 6-1.
Ron Bugatti with the assist there, letting us know that Regalado Salazar won the first set 6-1, and they are up 1-0 here in the second set of the men's finals at the Steel City Classic. And Dave, I was about to say that last point felt a lot like how that first set went. Salazar Regalado were incredibly opportunistic when they had that drive. It transitioned through, it took them to the net, and within a couple shots, they won that point.
And John, I was going to point out that, in that first set, I think, if you go back and you watched, Jose Salazar was really swinging on his forehand and hitting it well. And it gave probably Regalado a lot of opportunity to put pressure on by blitzing and ending points quickly by cutting the ball off. But, I think it was all set up by the really big forehands that Jose Salazar was hitting there in the first set. We have Ron Cummins up in Connecticut watching the live action here. Big paddle enthusiast.
30 love.
And that right there, Dave, is that roller from Salazar that just impresses me. I know it's coming, and it impresses me every time because he is almost at the baseline sometimes when he's hitting that. And not only does it negate Gregurovic and Ostojic's ability to then create offense off of a good lob, but in the case of that one, it quite literally won him the point. And to be able to flip a script like that off of a phenomenal lob is such...
Salazar, they lead the second set 2-0.
Is such an advantage, and because of how easy he makes it look, I think sometimes we don't talk about it enough, but that really is what I think the secret motor that drives that Regalado Salazar team. It's just they're never hitting bad overheads, no matter where they are on the court.
$15-all.
And with that roller overhead Salazar's hitting, from where he's hitting it, at this level, they know the ball's going backside. But he's hitting the nick so cleanly that the ball is shooting so far up the side screen that it's basically outrunning them.
And to know something's coming and to not be able to stop it is a frustrating feeling regardless of who you are on a paddle court. Wow, what a short little backhand swing there from Salazar. And sometimes, as we saw there, the best drives are get that backswing short, compact, have paddle meet ball redirected to open space. And they are a point away from being up 3-0 in the second set of the men's final here in Fox Chapel at the Steel City Classic.
Game, Regalado Salazar, they lead the second set 3-0. They won the first set 6-1.
Light look of frustration there from Gregurovic and Ostojic, because I thought that was a really nice little blitz play that Tommy Gregurovic had. He engaged in great hand-to-hand combat up there with Regalado Salazar. That's probably a point he wins 99 out of 100 times, the last 100 times that he's done it. Unfortunately, didn't work that time. Tin Ostojic maybe followed up with an unnecessarily large ground stroke in response. But we are at 3-0 Regalado Salazar here in the first set.
15 all. Fifteen 30.
We want to
So
give the
Dave,
fans
looking, yeah, we had the same thought.
Yeah, we want to give the fans out there just a little bit of a reminder that next week we'll be back live streaming. There's a men's event, Indianapolis Open. So make sure everyone's looking for that to tune in. We have a lot of big events coming up. We have the Nationals, obviously, March 6th to 8th. New schedule going Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with Sunday free to just in case there's any weather issues. In New Jersey, we have the mixed nationals coming up, and there'll be all different levels of play for everybody to get involved and come out and really have an enjoyable experience. So there's a lot of exciting things as we're getting to the end of the tour season this year. A lot going on.
A lot going on, and with the limited tournaments left, that looks like the end of year rankings for a lot of these players are getting a little bit closer to being finalized. So as we mentioned earlier, Regalado Salazar not only the #1 seed in this tournament, but the #1 team in this country, and they're playing against Gregurovic and Ostojic, who are the 3 seed here at the Steel City Classic and the 8 team nationally. Outrageous shot making here. Not only was that a great blitz, but to slide on essentially a dry paddle court and hit a drop volley is absurd. What more can you do to win a point if you're Tommy and Tin? Great shooting there.
The second set, 4 games.
The Regalado Salazar playing really well right now. Actually, see the
Regalado would be good at pickleball. Yeah.
John, I can tell you firsthand, Alvi Regalado is very good at pickleball for the limited amount that he plays. I got to watch it firsthand this summer.
That is right there, Dave, like the 12th drive from Regalado Salazar that has gone through the middle on Gregurovic Ostojic. So regardless of what the outcome of this match is, I have a feeling moving forward, they're going to go back, watch the tape, figure out why those shots are getting through the middle between the two of them, and that's going to get cleaned up prior to nationals. Really good overheads though from Tin Ostojic. You can hear how thin he is catching that ball on these overheads. Just goes to show the level of defense from Regalado Salazar right now. But as we see the steam start to rise a little bit from the backcourt where Regalado Salazar are, leads me to believe the rain's coming down just a little bit harder in Pittsburgh, and we'll see if that kind of changes how teams are attacking at the overhead and how that maybe impacts the pace of play here.
Yeah, and I think, John, right now at 4-love in the second set, as we know how the rain, the moisture on the court affects serve and the net team, that's not a good sign for Gregurovic and Ostojic right now.
Regalado Salazar, they lead the second set 5-0. Regalado Salazar won the first set 6-1.
You know what? That was maybe a high-risk choice there by Gregurovic. But speaking of risk management, Corient is the official wealth sponsor of the APTA's 2024-2025 season. Corient is a fee-only wealth manager who puts their clients at the center of everything they do. Learn more at corient.com.
Love 15. $15 all. $15.30. $30 all.
And Dave, looking ahead to next week's tournament in Indianapolis, I'm just taking a peek at the men's teams that have signed up, and it looks like that is going to be some
30,
phenomenal
40.
matches for the live stream viewers to watch next week. Just some of the top teams are McNerney Morgan, Nunez Powers, Fraser West, Bentheim Burris, Rams Wagner. Really loaded draw out in Indianapolis as the last stop on the APTA tour before Nationals. So we're going to see a lot of guys making sure that they are ready to go, they're finely tuned, so that in Philadelphia, they have a strong showing at Nationals.
Advantage, Gregurovic, Ostojic.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's the last stop on the tour, and it's going to give everyone an opportunity to really fine-tune their games or see, what they need to change or what they need to practice or work on. So, again, exciting time of the year, and it's also going to be an opportunity for players to really find their peak performance, get ready for the Nationals.
And selfishly, as a fan, the match that I really want to be able to watch on the live stream is a McNerney Morgan Fraser West match.
Regalado, Salazar.
I know that they played in the semis of Boston. Unfortunately, they weren't on the live stream
Game,
court.
Set, match, Regalado, Salazar, 6-1, 6-0.
All right, John. Well, that's the men's
guys.
final.
Cheers.
Please stay with us for an interview with our winners shortly.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Want to see how volley can transform training at your club? We've got a great offer for you. Gather 30 of your club friends and you'll get a free 30-day trial of volley. Experience firsthand how volley's trainer can help everyone improve. Increase reps and track your progress, all while training smarter. Don't miss out. Visit getvolley.com and unlock your club's full potential with a 30-day free trial.
Who is the player with the best serve?
Best serve, we're gonna go Tyler Frazier.
Best serve, Fraser. Sven Burus.
Well, I just had to deal with Sven Burus, so he's definitely up there.
Player with the best cutter?
Guillermo Nunez or Johan Duran. My partner, Eric West.
Tyler Frazier, without a doubt.
Dan Hansen.
Guillermo Nunez. I gotta say Dan Hansen's is just filthy.
Best roller?
Either Alvi or Jose.
I'm gonna pick my own boy Russell Bentheim on that one.
Johan Duran. Jose Salazar.
Jose Salazar.
Myself.
Best drive?
Alvi Regalado.
Jose Salazar.
Mark Powers.
I like runs in there.
Mike Wagner backhand, Johan forehand.
Best drive, Johan Durant.
Best blitz?
Philippe Rams.
Philippe.
Alvi. Johan Durant.
Probably Guille or McNerney.
Yeah.
Guillermo Nunez.
Me.
Best volley?
Durant.
Johan.
Alvi. Guillermo Nunez.
Guillermo Nunez.
Guillermo Nunez.
Powers. I think he's one of the best on all of them.
Mark Powers' volley's unbelievable. I don't think he gets enough credit for how good of a volley he is.
Best overhead.
Guille. I mean, we got to go with Guy Nunes on that one.
Powers.
Juan Araya.
Tyler Frazier.
Johan Durant.
Durant.
And best competitor.
Adam Morgan.
Adam Morgan. Me.
Mark Powers.
I think I'm going to give that one to Guy Nunes too.
Alvy. I'm gonna put myself on that one.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We're here at the Fox Chapel Racket Club in Pittsburgh, PA, and we're going to send it down to Mark Innes with the finalists and winners.
Let's go.
Go, 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 go.
All right, thank you, Dave and John. I'm here with the men's finalists. Gents, tough conditions today, but you got to feel good about the overall tournament and result.
Yeah, tournament was great. We had a great wins, and it was a tough day yesterday, tough day but today, and we're happy to be here. And thank you everybody who organized the tournament and APTA, and thank to my partner, and obviously congrats to those two guys. One time when I was with him, I won, but not like against him is a little bit tougher. And they were just too good. And congrats and good luck in nationals. So that's all. Hopefully we win a little bit more games in nationals. So that's all good.
But again, overall trending upwards for the season. You guys have definitely been a really tough team, and you're starting to pull it all together before nationals. So how are you feeling going into that tournament?
Yes, I think we're feeling really well for nationals. I think we're peaking at the right moment, and this has been a great tournament. Thank you, Tom, and everyone for organizing it, and APTA. Yeah, I feel like we're playing some really good paddle, even though we didn't show it this morning. But yeah, tough conditions. I think we battled well. Overall it was a good tournament, and got a lot to learn from these mistakes, and hopefully fix it before nationals.
A lot of positives for sure. Tim, what was your favorite Tommy moment on the court today?
Tommy moment, probably some kind of a volley battle that he won. Yeah. I was just standing back there and watching, trying to cover if it passes. It doesn't really do.
Same question. Favorite moment from Tim today?
Like his cuts, but those guys were tough, so that's all. But his cuts, yeah.
Well, great job, gents. We're going to see you at Nationals. Why don't you head over there and we'll get you your trophies.
Thank you.
Let's welcome the winners, Team Regalado. We're here on ground zero. We got the fans in the back here. They were hiding under the tents. Gents, I'm sure it feels good to play a match under 5 hours this week. How are we feeling?
Feeling good. Tough conditions, but thank you, the PTA and Tom. They did a phenomenal job, even though with tough conditions. I had a great time last year, and I was very excited to come back. And we knew that the matches were going to be shorter than 5 hours with these conditions, so we'll take it. But it's always fun to be next to this guy. We keep getting better every tournament we played, and we're building something special. So super excited.
You guys seem to have a lot of fun out there. Obviously, the conditions free it up to be a little looser. We saw a lot of backhand cut drop shots from you and some really, really fun off-the-deck drives. Tell us how it feels to be able to play with that freedom when every point is not quite as critical.
Yeah, I mean, playing Tim and Tommy is always really fun. We're good friends off the court, so we always try to get into each other a little bit, have fun out there, and yeah, definitely. It was a fun battle. We love these guys, and yeah, it was pretty fun with the rain.
Jose, you know the drill. Favorite moment from LV today?
I have to say, watching his face when I finished the cutter, that was pretty funny. He was not expecting. I was not expecting it either. So I don't know how I hit that one, but it was pretty funny to see that face.
LV?
I'm going with the cutter. I'm not sure when we're gonna see it again. Maybe 2028.
I love it. Well, any thank yous while we get your trophies ready over here?
Yeah, big thanks to Stanwich, especially the man. I couldn't get it done at Short Hills. They allowed me to play Short Hills and not being there for their member guest. Got it done here, and I'm super excited for nationals. One more tournament. We did our homework, and we're just very excited.
Yeah, thank you to Pittsburgh. I know conditions were really tough. You guys pulled out a great tournament, so thank you, Tom, and thank you everyone for organizing this. And we want to say thanks to Xenon and M4. I know they're supporting us in the back, and definitely a big shout out to Orange Lawn. Feels good to represent Orange Lawn out there.
and represent the witch.
There you go. Well, let's grab their trophies. Tom, why don't you come up over there? And
we got a little Pittsburgh Proud Heinz ketchup, one for you, and Wiggle Whiskey City of Champions bourbon.
Thank you.
Congratulations, guys. Well done. Thanks for coming.
all right, back to you guys in the booth.
All right, thank you, Mark. All right, John, so that's the finals of the men's Pittsburgh Steel City Open. I really enjoyed doing the match with you. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts were I thought that was a phenomenal match for the viewers to watch as all these players tune up for nationals. Speaking of which, we are still have a couple of weeks left in the APTA season. Next week, we're going to Indianapolis, followed up by both nationals, mixed nationals, and junior nationals. So lots of great paddles still to be played the rest of this year. Looking forward to calling it with you, Dave. Have a great one.
All right, well, thank you again, John. That's a wrap of the men's final and the 2025 Steel City Classic. We'll see you next week when our coverage begins at the 19th and final stop on the APTA Tour, the Indianapolis Open, coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana.
So my name is Tim McAvoy. I have been a part of the Philadelphia paddle community probably going back to the 70s with my mother, who was instrumental in bringing the sport of platform tennis to Philadelphia back in the late 60s and early 70s. Lucy McAvoy, who is a Hall of Fame member in her own right. She was a tremendous ambassador for the sport. She's the one who brought platform tennis to the Philadelphia area back in the late 60s with a number of her friends. So she was all about growing the game. She introduced the game and grew the game. And for me, a natural progression. It's probably in my DNA. I've been playing competitive paddle tennis since I moved back to the area in 1982. It is unbelievable, having played through the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s, to watch the athleticism of this sport. And that's the word that comes to mind. It is so much more athletic now. You've got the tennis pros coming out, and probably if you looked at the top 15 teams, they're probably all tennis professionals, or 95% of them are. Back in the 80s and 90s, it was regular working people, men and women, that played the sport. And now the pros have taken over, and it is such a faster game, much more athletic. And as most of you know, if you're looking for a successful platform tennis program anywhere in the country, you have to have a pro or a champion that helps grow the game, promote the game, and teach the game. My two favorite words for this sport are competition and camaraderie. And for me, it doesn't get much better than that in any sport. And I believe all of us are blessed to have both available to us in platform tennis if we choose to embrace it. For me, this sport is so different than tennis because I grew up playing tennis, played tennis at Penn State. The difference is the camaraderie off the court, right? Tennis and paddle tennis both have the competition on the court, but when you're able to have that camaraderie off, where you and your opponent have a cocktail, have a drink, hang out after the match, which happens universally throughout our sport, that separates us, in my mind, from tennis in a big way.
Hi everyone, Eric West here, originally from Toronto, Canada, but currently residing in Cincinnati, Ohio. I saw these courts in the distance and thought, what in the world are those? There's a Thursday night league in Cincinnati. I got my college coach to sign me up and haven't looked back since. Playing this upcoming season with Tyler Frazier, off to a great start. We had a good week in Baltimore. So far going great here in Chicago. We have a full season lined up, so looking forward to battling out with my fellow Cincinnatian.
What would you say is your strength as a team?
Ooh, just going lefty-righty, just being able to attack the full court, just working together and figure out what the strategy is for the day. I'd say winning the Cincinnati League team championships with my old club, Hyde Park Country Club. Driving the ball, forehand, backhand, off the deck, screen drive, you name it, I love to drive it.
When you're not playing paddle, what are you doing?
Getting outside as much as possible. Golfing, hiking, swimming, biking, you name it outside, I like to do it. I'm Eric West, this is the APTA Tour.
Hi, I'm Mike Yahimski. I'm the National Chairman of the Umpires Committee for the APTA. So I started umpiring back, it was maybe 5 years ago. There was a local tournament at my home club at Indian Trail Club, and they needed umpires. And I put my hand up to volunteer for that tournament, and here I am, running the APTA umpires. So becoming an umpire is easy. I'll send you a bunch of materials that you read through, including the rules. There's a special handbook that basically walks you through the entire process to make sure that you're successful up in the chair from day one. There's a 15-question multiple choice certification exam. Super simple for the most part. If you play paddle, you'll pass it right away. And then I'll put you in, when you pass, I'll put you in touch with the regional captain, and they'll get you up in the chair at the next tournament. An ideal candidate is obviously you have to love paddle. And then someone who has confidence. If you want to make a call, you got to stick to it. You got to be confident. And someone who doesn't mind being a little cold up there sometimes, or a little wet. But anybody really who wants to give back to the APTA and the game of paddle, becoming an umpire is truly the perfect opportunity. My name again, Mike Yahimski. I'm the National Chairman of the APTA Umpires Committee. If you're interested in becoming an umpire, reach out to me and I'll give you all the information you need.